Hello, folks. This is Steve AB for you. Wow, I got the window open. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm a night owl. You may hear occasional traffic. The air is still beautiful. So I think I found another piece of the puzzle. What puzzle? Well, I did the series about them boring the conduit along here, and I've shown you them doing it in Franklinville and up and down these roads here, and they did it up this road here, and when the crew was working out here, I asked the supervisor, who's paying for this? And that's actually the way I asked him. And he said, lumos. Now, that's all he said, lumos. And I've done an episode about lumos, but I can see that there's been a little bit of confusion in my mind. And this was stimulated by when I went to the big box store in the afternoon. There was a truck. When I parked, I saw this truck 2 spots away, and I looked at it and it said lumos. And it had, that orange conduit pieces in the back, and so it was a guy that's doing something with them, but it's Sunday, they're not doing it. And it said lumos, proud partner with lumosfiber.com. And that's where my confusion has been. It isn't lumos, it's lumos fiber. Lumos, high-speed fiber internet provider in North Carolina and Virginia. And I've taken you to this website before, but I guess I didn't really notice that it isn't Lumos, it's lumosfiber.com, just like it was on the truck. Now, I'm not promoting anything, I'm not recommending anything. May 24, 2023, April, March, January, August, North State, which is the name of the company before, makes a transformative technology infrastructure investment of over $51 million to bring 100% fiber optic net to nearly 38,000 residents business of Forsyth and Randolph County. November 2021, Lumos completes 100% gig speed fiber internet project in the Allegheny Highlands, but that's in Virginia. But you remember, it's Piedmont and someplace, I think, north of the border in Virginia. That would make sense. Lumos and North State assemble world-class leadership team. That's November 2021. And this was the one of interest. October 5th, why does it have the same title? It's the same. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I didn't notice that. Lumos and North State complete separation from segra. Who's segra? Those two articles are the same. Company to operate a standalone company with renewed focus on robust fiber broadband growth. And it's coming out of Waynesboro, Virginia. and High Point, North Carolina. Well, High Point, North Carolina is 30 miles north of where I am, directly. Where's Waynesboro? I'm doing this to see where it is. Now, it looks to me like it's in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And I bet this just froze again. No? Is this really all Virginia? What kind of map is this? Yeah, you see what happened? I always have this complaint. I'm right in the middle of doing something. And what happened? What do you think happened? The brilliant geniuses at Google, Chrome still haven't fixed the fact that their browser pages just freeze. Do you notice how this page came up with it, but I couldn't enlarge the previous frame because it's frozen? So I'm trying to figure out where is Waynesboro, Virginia. It's an independent city. Yeah, meaning it's in its own county, so to speak. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Stoughton, Waynesboro. Oh, it's way up there? Is it way up there? Now, this is what caused it to freeze a moment ago. You see what just happened? Let me see if I can enlarge it. There's Stoughton down there. I'm trying to go south. We border on Virginia. There's Amherst, Lynchburg, Virginia, Alta Vista. I still haven't hit any place I know. Oh, there's the North Carolina border. Okay, so I'm actually surprised at how far north the other end of the stick is. Back to this. I want to show you what I found. Today, Lumos Network and North State Telephone Company embark on a bold growth plan as a standalone company. With the continued financial support of EQT infrastructure. The growth strategy includes expanding into new communities, cementing its premier fiber to the premises FTTP growth platforms. Remember the FTTP. And then the guy who's the big shot goes into a big long thing. But the title is Lumos and North State Complete Separation from Segra. And then the top of this says, bold growth plan as a standalone company with, what are they talking about? About Lumos and North State. The company provides high-speed fiber internet, wall-to-wall Wi-Fi. We've gone over this. Our customers enjoy the fastest fiber speeds available built on a network that can truly. No, 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 no. Now I want to show you something. News media contact. Now, this is a Greensboro area, Piedmont area phone number. It's this gal here. She's the VP of Marketing, Lumos Fiber. Yep, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point area. She's been with Lumos Fiber for 3 years. Before that, she was Director of Marketing at North State. Now, wait a minute now. The new company is called Lumos Fiber. She doesn't say, she says that as two things, but the thing is, and she went to Chapel Hill. When you say Chapel Hill in North Carolina, when you say she went to Chapel Hill, they mean the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And Salem College. Where do you think that would be? In Winston-Salem? Well, that's just north of here. I've been there. North Carolina Highway Historical Marker. Look it up. Okay, so she is not a greenie. She's not new at being marketing. Now let me show you how much previous news releases and stuff are just throwaway, out of date, and you don't bother with them. But also about a transition. Now I'm not making fun of her. In this one, which she wrote or had written and she authorized, October 5th, 2021, she has an email box at lumosnet.com. So if you try to use that as a email address to her, I don't know if it would get through. What does that mean? It says lumosnet.com's server IP address cannot be found. So I go right here and I go ping. If it exists, if it's somewhere on the internet, ping it and respond. Ping request could not find host lumosnet.com. Please check the name and try again. NS lookup. Google DNS, that's who I use. 8.8.8.8. Name lumosnet.com, and it says nothing. It doesn't even bother to say we have no idea who it is. It might be that it used to exist. They actually know that it did, but it's not current. I'm interpreting what I see. So there's also been a name at the internet addressing level. What's the announcement I've been reading talking about? Separating from, so when they were part of, what's the name of the company now? First time I'm ever hearing of it today. Segra. Never heard of it before today. But there's a million companies in the United States. But Lumos and North State complete separation from. And when they were a part of Segra, they were known as lumosnet.com. But that doesn't exist anymore. They've abandoned that. Who's Segra? Let's find out. There it is. Segra provides business internet, Ethernet, MPLS, dark fiber, I don't know what that is, IP, managed internet protocol, managed services, voice data center, and cloud solutions and carrier services. They act as a telephone company and it's something. Now, first I looked at this. Our company, we're in the business of you. And they've got a YouTube video, but I'm not going to go to it. We've re-engineered our entire company operations to put you, our customer, at the very center, with about 900 employees in 90 facilities, including 14 sales offices in 44 markets. One of the largest independent fiber network companies in eastern U.S. This is the first time I'm reading it. Segra has a broad and dense service footprint across the mid-Atlantic and Southeast. We're known for next-generation infrastructure, cloud security, voice, data technology, that can be customized for businesses of different sizes and transport services as one of the world's largest carrier. Businesses, not residential. But what's Lumos Fiber doing out here? It's not geared to businesses, it's geared to home. Now we know why they split off. Because to adventure into, and I guess they got some grant money, to adventure into rural residential is a dissonance with what Segra does. I'm reading between the lines. You see the other thing that's already been lit up? Fiber network map. And that's where the revelation came. Let me show you. Remember, my mind is wandering. I'm brainstorming. There's a map behind. I can put an address in, but there's a button that says view the map. This is Segra. They said they're, among other places, in the southeastern United States. Which two states are they showing? Virginia and North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. What do you notice about the cluster map? They said they have 900 employees. Where do they service? It's obvious, just look. Metropolitan areas. What's in metropolitan areas? Well, there could be residential customers, but maybe that's where the business customers are. What would be a typical business customer? I'm guessing. Well, if I go down to Advanced Auto Parts, is this where their headquarters is? No, they have a store here. But when I lived in Raleigh, there was a Advanced Auto Parts store a couple of blocks over from where I was living. So maybe by business they mean we connect. I'm using an example that would be familiar to me. They might be a customer segment. because they need a fast backbone. One day I went into the Advanced Auto and I needed a part, and they looked and they said we can have it here from tomorrow from Asheville, North Carolina. And it was there the next day. Obviously, it came in over an overnight truck or courier, but you need a network to do that, a backbone. Oh, here's Greensboro, here's High Point, here's Asheboro. Now, what are these little triangles? They're FTTC towers. What would be an FTTC? Fiber to the curb, F, fiber, T, to, T, the, C, curb, towers. If you have fiber that's local, do you have a fiber backbone, or do you have to go intercity by some other means, like a microwave tower? Thinking about marrying the past. So these blue lines are the fiber network. So that's where they've actually planted. This is segra. That's where they actually have a fiber in the ground, not for your house, not for a business, but for segra itself to service companies. And it's a sparse background, so it goes up like the Concord. That's a major city. Mooresville, Salisbury, High Point. And then notice that fiber in the ground is like a spider web around High Point and not so much around Greensboro. But what are the dots? The dots are called on-net buildings. They're kind of like, I'm going to guess, they're kind of like the telephone switching buildings that were in my hometown when I grew up, with the relays, the stacks of relays, to operate the twisted pairs that come finally to your house. So when you dial a number, the relays move. So it's something like that, but at the fiber level for telephone service. So what we can see is, whoop, oh, it's going to let me move it within the picture. There's Statesville. There's Thomasville. There's Lexington. Here's Alamance County. See this one thing that's following 40, kind of speaking? See, there's Interstate 40. There's Mebane. There's Raleigh. Raleigh's down here. There's Raleigh. There's Durham and UNC. And then it follows 40. You notice that there's nothing in between? Pay attention to that. There's nothing in between. And then for whatever reason, it goes up here and down this way to get, and there's Greensboro. And next to Greensboro is High Point. And then now here's the important part. You see this corridor here? There's Deep River up there. That's the origin of the Deep River that's 2 miles down that way. So it has a population between Greensboro and Lexington. Segra has serviced those and built out its network for both business and residential. But where are we? I wish it wouldn't do that. Where are we? Now let's keep it in mind. And this was the revelation. And when I looked at this map, I then understood the news item I started off with. Segra has concentrated on major metropolitan areas, because that's where the money is, because of density of residents and houses and businesses. And to link the major metropolitan areas, their business concentration customers and residential customers, they have routing between them. And they may have some little bit of services down here. These are microwave towers. They're probably left over from when it was North State Telephone. And there's Asheboro, where I am. Actually, I'm a little to the left of that. And where are they building out all of the fiber now? In this empty area right here. In that empty area right there. In this empty area right here. That's my neighborhood. Right there's Franklinville. Okay? In this area right here, they're going like crazy. Why did they separate from Segra? Segra is a metropolitan area. It knows how to handle high density populations and business. And it doesn't give a damn about me out in the countryside. And there may have been tax reasons and status for being qualified to receive a grant. Suppose there was a caveat that we would prefer to have a startup company with experienced people rather than try to do it inside of a big urban-oriented place that really has never really tried to go out into the countryside. Why don't we take a completely fresh look at this? That's my theory. That's why they're separating from Segra. That it may be a grant requirement to qualify. It may be because they want to segregate away people who have the talent and not have them continually drawn back into the big problems in the urban area. And it may be that the whole corporate structure needs to be re-looked at because countryside is so much different than urban. I can think of 3 main reasons. Lumos may have started inside of Segra with the thought of going edge their way out of the metropolitan areas. But something happened and it was seen to be better to just clean break. And of course they talk to each other, don't they? So when I hit this map, and they said that they made a clean break with Segra, and I looked at the map, and I looked at where we are, And I looked at where that other place is way up here. It's out in the country, so out in the sticks too. That other city that's the pair, it's out in the sticks. What do you think? Do you think I know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm curious about one thing. She's the VP for marketing. It's no longer a valid domain name. We want to go back here. That's February 22. One more. August 9th, 2022. February 2022. Let's read this. Let's see if it gives her contact information. Learn more at lumosfiber.com. Okay, so it means by that time, Lumos Fiber was the new domain name, February 22. So that was the break also meant we shed the identities we had inside of Segra, even though we had a Lumos identity. We have to rename ourselves and we have to get rid of the old domain names. And any email going to them goes into the bit bucket. Can't find it. And if you're not keeping up with what's happening, we don't want to talk to you anyway. Got it? That's only a couple of months. So even the email address abandonment was part of the clean break. Steve A. Beforia, just letting his mind wander as he brainstorms what's actually going on and understanding it. And it was stimulated today because at the big box store I saw a truck and it was like a Shazam. I thought before I was looking at lumos.com, but it said on the truck Lumos Fiber. And when I came back and I looked again, I saw that lumos.com is somebody else entirely unrelated. And you got to go to Lumos Fiber. And I just put up, I just finished another one today. You'll see this before you see this one. Another fiber internet company that's right around this area. This is why I have a continuing interest. I want to see why are they doing it the way they're doing. Are they overlapping or are they neighbors in cutting up different segments of the outback? You know, like the Australian outback, away from the coastal cities where there's nothing. And by the way, this might be the outback in the Piedmont. It's beautiful here. What a great place to live. Steve A. Beforia, just letting his mind wander and brainstorming an ongoing question about who are these people and what's the strategy and who are the actual players, saying see you in 73.